Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Monday.
When there's articles listing new trends of things that people just kind of do. I don't know if they're trending up or trending down, but this is kind of a thing that happens. The latest that I've seen is the trend of dark showering and how it could be your new secret weapon for a good night's sleep. 5 big benefits of, that kind of thing. But dark showering is really what it sounds like. It's showering with the lights not quite full blast. I mean, many people have just dimmer lights in the bathroom for this very reason, whether it be for the shower or for just a relaxing bath, perhaps even candlelit even to get that maximum relaxation in. Like, this is not a new concept, but I do get the idea of maybe pairing it in your mind as a strategy for trying to get a better sleep by doing dark showering before you go to bed and just having the lights a little bit dimmer so that they're not keeping your brain in middle of the day awake and alert, anxious mode, which it loves to stay in. But yeah, creating that calming and dimmed environment for 15 to 20 minutes may see a benefit, or may find people seeing a benefit. I don't know. Try it out, I guess, or don't. Just figure it out for yourself like we always do. Over the weekend, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony took place, and there were some really, really cool moments there. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but seeing some highlights, I was really moved by certain moments. I mean, it was history in the making. It is every year. That's kind of what they do, but like big things happen. Like, I thought it was really cool. The first female DJ recognized, a member of Salt and Pepper, getting the propers so many years after the heyday of the band and everything. Jack White getting recognition. Of course, the White Stripes together getting recognition, but Meg White, being a painfully shy person, as we've learned from Jack White telling us about it, was not there in attendance, nor was she expected to be, but he accepted on behalf of the both of them, and really, really cool acceptance speech. I mean, before he actually read out a letter to Meg White in celebration of her and everything that she contributed to one of the most iconic bands of all time, here's another thing that Jack had to say to the up-and-comers.
To the young artists, I want to say, get your hands dirty and drop the screens and get out in your garage or your little room and get obsessed. Get obsessed with something, get passionate. We all want to share in what you might create.
Fantastic words. And then Jack White getting a little shout out as Outkast, another absolute all-time favorite of mine, got their recognition as well at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this is what Andre 3000 was saying.
One thing that Jack said, man, Jack is, he's one of my favorites, man. We love you, man. But one thing that he said something about little rooms. And we started in a little rooms. Great thing to start in little rooms.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Long live Uncle Moni.
Yeah, I wanted to play that out, even though, you get a lot of applause there for a minute. It takes a second, but I wanted to play that out because it's just such a powerful moment of, it's true, both of them saying the same thing. Little rooms are where big things begin to happen. So, get out there, get into it. Young creative people, old creative people, whoever you are, that's some cool stuff.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
Starting off with the record-making trailer for Michael, the biopic all about Michael Jackson, starring a member of his family, real-life nephew Jafar Jackson, as the titular role, and Coleman Domingo as his father, Joe Jackson. It's aimed to be on the screen April of next year, but the first trailer for it is now the most watched music biopic preview in history. The rest of music news, all about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony that saw many great moments, like Jim Carrey inducting Soundgarden, reuniting the band once again. And then you've also got some really great tributes. There was Cyndi Lauper honored by Chappell Roan, Ray, Avril Lavigne, Salt and Pepper, and more. She's saying, the little kid in me still believes that rock and roll can save the world. Then, of course, you had Andre 3000 and Big Boy in the house, though. Only Big Boy joined the performance in celebration of Outkast. Tyler, the Creator, Doja Cat, Janelle Monáe, Killer Mike, all performing. You even had performances to celebrate the White Stripes with incredible stuff from Olivia Rodrigo and 21 Pilots, and a touching moment as well, perhaps one of the most emotional. Stevie Wonder, Beck, Flea, Questlove, and more came together to honor Sly Stone, the frontman of Sly and the Family Stone, who died earlier this year at the age of 82. That's it for your music news this morning. We've got a spoiler-free Steve review for you about Predator Badlands. Just opened up on Friday. Now, we were just talking about how it has made franchise history with the best opening weekend for the Predator franchise at $40 million. Not bad at all. And that's after not a lot of people were going to the movies in October. It was one of the worst Octobers for films, for openings, and for just box office take in 28 years. Like a near 30-year low. But October trending up with help from Predator Badlands right at the start, November. And then we've also got Wicked for Good, The Running Man, Now You See Me 3, maybe less so, Zootopia 2 for sure, all going to be keeping the November momentum going. But as for the actual movie itself, definitely worth a watch. You don't have to be an old school Predator fan, having seen everything, read every comic whatsoever. You can dive right in. You don't even need to have seen Prey or the straight-to-streaming animated anthology that was called Killer of Killers. All three from the same director, Dan Trachtenberg. I think the franchise is in good hands because they did very, very good things. But this one follows Deck, a Yautja, name of the species of the Predator, who is marked for death by his own clan because he's not strong enough. But he must prove himself by trying to find the strongest prey to show he is not the weakest amongst those that call him brethren. But will he be able to do so is the big question. And in doing so, making him kind of the underdog, it's not so much that they humanize the aliens, it's more that they just make them somebody that you can kind of relate to, and in a great way. Surprises left and right, felt like a proper 90s action movie, and definitely worth the price of admission.
Wednesday.
Some of the earliest iterations of Betty Boop entering the public domain as of January 1st, 2026. Yeah, there's a new horror movie being made. I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is about the old-timey IPs of cartoons becoming part of the public domain that immediately means terrible, low-budget horror movie. But we saw it with Steamboat Willie, which, you know, the Mickey Mouse originator, besides, Harold the Rabbit? I don't know. Also, Winnie the Pooh. There was a Bambi one that happened, and this trend will continue on. Now, a movie that all we know about it is that it is called Boop, and then it will be about some podcasters, horror podcasters, investigating an abandoned theater to come face to face with the starlet once known as Boop. I mean, they're going to have a little harder time selling this one as a horror movie, but it's not like they're going to be spending much money, and yet the curiosity means, ching, they're printing cash. What is the most useless thing you've ever bought? Well, a brand new useless item has just arrived on the internet. And I'm talking about the candy cane opener that is not even available yet. They're announcing it, but it launches November 17th. Brax the Candy Cane Opener. They say it is the very first and only tool that is specifically used only for opening up candy canes, basically removing the wrapper from said canes of candy, and specifically designed for their own brand of candy cane, I imagine. There's 3 simple instructions that are written in the over-packaged box that comes with, of course, the opener itself and 12 candy canes to get you started with. It says, insert Brax candy cane into the opening, remove from opening, discard the wrapper, and enjoy. I mean, other than the opener itself, that's pretty much just what you do with candy canes anyways. And they always just end up breaking no matter what. So as long as it can actually accomplish the job without breaking anything, it's still probably not useful whatsoever. It's like, see a need, fill a need, but there wasn't a need in the first place. Hey, at least it's only $5, and it's more of a collector's item than anything, and it hangs on the tree, doubles as an ornament. A 70s and 80s supergroup is coming together for one night only on November 23rd, and it's all to do with retired ice skater and Olympian and cancer survivor Scott Hamilton and his annual fundraiser, Scott Cares, for cancer research. So the 6 singers from 70s and 80s bands include Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon, Jason Derlatka of Journey, Jason Sheff of Chicago, John Elefante of Kansas, Wally Palmar of The Romantics, and Mike Reno from Loverboy, plus Mike Reno's wife, Catherine St. Germain, all going to be performing, all for a great cause. The Deftones in the news because of something being teased, though across the pond, a little distant from us. Big things might be starting off in the UK in the summer of 2026, or just the tail end of it anyway. They have only posted the artwork from the most recent album, Private Music, from the Deftones, and the date's September 23rd, 2026. That's about it for now. And we now have seen the reveal of the cause of death for Ace Frehley, originator of Kiss, one of the founding members. He died in October at the age of 74, surrounded by family, peacefully, thankfully, but it did confirm the suspicion that he died following a recent fall at his home. A CT scan and medical reports obtained by Rolling Stone confirming that, with details we don't really need to get into. That's it for your music news this morning. I'm Steve Reeve.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
There is a brand new movie on the way. Going to arrive in December, the month where we're watching a lot of Christmas movies, and it is definitely more of a thriller horror type, but I've been waiting a long time for it. Very excited to watch Influencers, which is a follow-up to 2023's Influencer, which was sort of a horror movie thriller take on travel blogs and travel influencers, the people that are on Instagram in tropical places all the time, but with a twist. And this time around, they're following it up directly. The director, Curtis David Harder's back again, and Cassandra Naud is reprising her role as CW from the first one. She, of course, originally hailing from Fort McMurray, a former Fort McMurrayite who's going to be on the streaming screen in a Shudder exclusive in mid-December. And the trailer is out right now. We're just adding it to the blog at cruzradio.com. Very excited to watch this. Been waiting. I was hoping it was going to arrive in October, but, these things take time. December, still take it. Merry Christmas. Why not? Right now it's 7:41. It's still waiting. And don't wait too long. Check the blog at cruzradio.com. It'll be there in moments. Canada, unfortunately, we just got some bad news. There are the powers that be who decide what the status is of certain things, like our measles elimination status, for instance, which we've held since the late 90s. So basically what happened is that Canada has lost the measles eradication status after a full year of, what the hell, guys? What's going on? Particularly Ontario and Alberta leading the charge. Ontario having a high population comparatively, and us having a high percentage comparatively. But there is some good news. Of course, the silver lining is that, there's less cases. They are dropping. There is a higher vaccination rate, especially in areas where there are higher numbers. People going, well, maybe I don't really want this thing, especially because measles can be something that really does compromise one's immune system to contract, and it's something that we just got rid of. We shouldn't even be dealing with it. The good news is, of course, we can get that measles eradication status back, just like we got it once in the first place. We lost it after 1 year of messing around. Maybe we can, knock our heads together just a little bit and get rid of this thing again. Maybe for good.
Thursday.
Apple announcing a new product, which usually just makes people's brains explode. But this one, get a lot of laughter. It's called the Apple iPhone Pocket. They call it a beautiful way to wear and carry your iPhone around, as if you didn't already have that solved. We've been figuring out how to put our iPhones in our pockets, our bags, our purses, our wherevers, even magneting to different surfaces for a great many years now. But they have come up with the pinnacle, apparently, just in time for the holiday season. Available November 14th at very select Apple Store locations around the globe. It's called the iPhone Pocket with two different editions and a bunch of different colors. It's just a strap. It's a thing that either goes around your shoulder or just around the crook of your arm, and you slide the iPhone into it. And then you can't even see the iPhone when it's in there. It's just a pocket. It's just a piece of fabric. I don't get it. It's designer. It's fashion, sure. But the price tag is $159, US for the short strap design, $229.95 US for the long strap design. Well, I got to tell you, the bad news is it's dumb. The good news is you don't have to charge it. No official announcements, but some expectations of further shows from some major UK bands. The Rolling Stones, for instance. The pianist who has been touring with them says that there could be some stuff coming for 2026 in Europe. They don't want to hang up the rock and roll shoes yet. There's no doubt in my mind. However, after they supported their most recent album Hackney Diamonds in a tour last year, and across North America as well, the European leg was scrapped, and they actually could not fulfill some of the venue and dates that they had arranged. Maybe they'll be making good on that. We'll see. But also Liam Gallagher teasing that there could be more Oasis reunion shows, teasing to the crowd, the audience, I know things you don't know. And also happened to respond to some claims that they were in it just for the money. Hey, why not the art and the money for the Live 25 tour? They managed to pull it off. Radiohead in the news, alongside big names like Dua Lipa, even Sam Fender, joining together to call on the UK government to hold up what they pledged to do, which was put a cap on secondary ticket prices. Basically, ticket resale market not able to absolutely skyrocket if there is some sort of intervention. But no formal intervention exists at this time. Introducing a cap will restore faith in the ticketing system, says the collective. That's it for your music news this morning. I'm Steve Reeve.
Friday.
You might have heard by now about this Hamilton bus ride situation that happened. A bus got stolen, but it's not quite like you would imagine just hearing that. It's so much weirder. And I have to imagine there's probably a mental health component to the story, so I'm trying not to make light of the individual who's clearly going through something. It's just so bizarre. How can you not be fascinated by the fact that a 36-year-old man, stole a bus? I mean, really what he did was, after a bus driver got off of said bus in Hamilton, Ontario, he jumped on, sat in the bus driver's seat, and then drove away. And then started stopping at the bus stops and letting people off, letting passengers on. The police even said that at one point he tried to deny somebody who had an expired bus pass, as if he's the authority to say, no, you're not allowed on this bus. I think that's so wild. So wild. At any time, about 10 passengers on the bus, the police learned of it because he started to not quite follow the route, and people who were familiar started to ask questions, even trying to give him directions to get back onto the route, thinking maybe there's just some confusion. It became pretty clear, hang on, this is not an actual operator of the transit service here. Something is amiss. And without incident, the man was taken into custody. There's a charge that was involved. Of course there was, because, I mean, it's technically stealing a bus. But I have to imagine maybe there was an aspect of him just wondering if he could do it. You know, I've taken buses many times. Wonder if I could just do that job. That's a heck of an audition because, I mean, I hope they take an interview. I really do. They say, while it is a serious offense, he left the bus without a scratch on it and only left the route temporarily. So, by all accounts, he didn't do that bad of a job. New service that's got me scratching my head. It sounds like a scam and a half, to me anyway. An app that lets you chat with an AI version of dead loved ones. As an authentic experience, I'd have to say, I don't buy it. I'm sure there's a questionnaire, some sort of customization that happens, but really, you're talking to the same robot that everybody is underneath all the prompting. Not the actual loved one, just a robot. And as a therapeutic device, maybe I can't knock it as much, but I do feel like journaling is probably more effective and certainly a lot cheaper. Talking to an actual human definitely is more helpful, though probably more expensive. Yeah, catch-22. Give it like 50 years when we can actually just scan a human personality like a photocopy, and then maybe, still maybe.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
AC/DC really shaking the earth, and that is literal. In their first Australian show in a decade, they were so loud that people were able to hear them about 10 kilometers away, and earthquake detectors registered the vibrations in the seismic geography, in the very strata of the area of the entire continent, I'm sure. Wild. And also news showing that this is really sad stuff. 97% of people polled in a French survey could not tell the difference between real and AI music. In some forms, we're really adept at being able to kind of spot it, sense it, feel it out, read it. But when it comes to music, a little bit less able to differentiate. And I hope that we do get better at that. And also, Whitesnake's frontman, David Coverdale, has retired from music. Say it isn't so. Originally fronting Deep Purple in the 70s. It's been 5 decades of being at the top of the White Snake chart. And this time around, he says, well, it's time to be done. It's time for me to call it a day, he said specifically on social media, shared by Whitesnake as well as himself. It's time to hang up the boots. And he says that it's been really incredible, along with Deep Purple, with Whitesnake, hanging out with Jimmy Page. The last few years have been very evident to me that it is really time for me to hang up my rock and roll platform shoes and my skin-tight jeans. Well, hey, get yourself something comfortable to wear. David Coverdale, I feel like he probably earned it. And that's it for your music news this morning. I'm Steve Reeve. Holy crap! Vine is coming back. That's not something that I was expecting, as they say. It wasn't on the bingo card. But I guess, yeah, the platform is returning. Some rich social media type is actually using some funds to make it an open project and not really aiming to, it seems, make a ton of money off of it. It's just for the love, which is, great. Old but beloved vines from the platform gone by, returning once again. Ideal for radio hosts, such as myself. Funny viral clips that are 6 seconds or less. Are you kidding me?
Happy Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Crisis. Merry Chrysler.
That's it. I mean, of course we're going to be excited about that. But this time it will be called Divine, and they promise to launch with at least 100,000 of the most popular archived vines. And if that wasn't enough to entice you, they promise the platform will be forever free from AI slop. It is a very Merry Chrysler after all.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.